Hey guys, so I still have the cold, and so my project is probably not as good as it would have been if I had taken a little bit more time to do some prep work, but it's still going to give you a good idea of the concept. So what we're doing is we're taking sticks, or you could take some kind of architectural salvage like spindles or something, and you are drilling holes in them, and then you are putting them on a base to make your Christmas tree. So I use some of those red branches that I had used from my planters and put them on this oil can. And you could spin them different directions too if you wanted, and kind of make it a spiral thing, but I'm just going to have it go straight on. Mainly because what I ended up doing was adding some metal, actually this metal, into the end of the oil can. And the reason I did that is because the sticks were too little to drill through and not break in order to get them to thread all the way down onto the oil can. So in my mind, the stick was going to go down here, but you kind of want to have your sticks be proportional to your base. So I ended up just threading on this piece of metal into that hole, and then I didn't have to drill as big of holes in these small twigs to get them to look like a tree. And then you would probably want to find something. You could do something like I did last night with a brooch or something to make a star. And then this is obviously too big, but I was trying to bend some metal to make a star as well. So that would be something that you would want to add to it. So you could get a bigger size oil can, so you could use bigger sticks and it be in proportion, and then make your little tree. So another idea that you could do is kind of like when I did the paper stack tree. You could use a receipt holder and have that be the base of your tree, because this is really thin. So then you could use small twigs like this, not have to draw a very big hole, but they would thread all the way down here, and then you would have a lot more tree stems or pieces of architectural salvage to make your twig tree that way as well. And when you have more of them, you could do more of the same size ones and then spin them around so that you had a different kind of look of your tree than I did with this red one. So basically I was just looking around for different things that I had, and this is actually a willow tree angel holder. So an angel would have twisted on here. That's the Willow Tree brand, but somehow I dropped the angel and broke it, but I always kept the stand because I thought I could reuse it for something. So I think that this is a good match. Now, the key with this though is that I needed to get some bigger sticks, because if I have to drill a big hole for this, then my drill bit can't be wider than my tree, or I'm going to break the twig in half. So you can see here that I went ahead and drilled in the smallest one just in case I broke it. That way I didn't have to, start over here going live. But I didn't cut any extra twigs, and my twigs are not the best cut because remember that tool that I was using when I did my planter boxes. I mean, this is just hand rigged together because we let the original screw rust, and so it just doesn't cut very well, as you can see on the edge of the twig here. So I've drilled most of them, but I was going to just leave a couple of them to drill for you. So since I'm at my dining room table, I don't want to drill into the table, and basically anytime you're drilling a hole, it's nice to have your piece that you're drilling through up high enough that the drill bit can go all the way through and then come back up. So if I wedge it here on my little bit box, then the drill can go through the branch, but it keeps it off of the table, so I'm not putting a hole in my table. Now, a couple of things with drilling is that I could start with a smaller drill bit And those are just easier to start. And then I kind of have a hole for the tip of the drill bit to go down into when I come back with a bigger one. Now, I'm just going to attempt to do it. And I'm just going to go slow because initially it's going to want to slip around until you get it actually started into the wood. Then you can see that I went all the way through it and came back. And then because I know it's going to fit tight on my pole here, I do want to make sure that I don't have stuff dangling in the way. Okay, I drilled that one here. I left two that I could do. And again, I am eyeballing where the center is. If you want to be exact, you could measure it, make a little tick mark with a pin or whatever, but I'm not worried about it being exact. This is more for demonstration than for perfection. Okay, so then I had laid my twigs out here just so I could make sure that they were graduating a little bit, and then I also wanted to make sure that I didn't have all fatter ones in the bottom. I wanted to kind of spread them out. So I did a fatter one, a couple thinner ones, a fatter one, and then some thinner ones. And then we're just going to try and get it to thread down on here, and it is a tight fit. I want it to be tight because I want it to hold off of the base so that this looks like the tree stump. But if you drilled a hole that was too big for your pole, all you'd have to do is do a dollop of like hot glue, and then you could get that one in the position that you wanted, and that would hold it still. And then we're just going to go on with our graduating sizes. We can leave a space between them. I really don't know how they're going to fit on here. I didn't do much measuring on this one. I'm hoping I don't break it when I'm pushing it down, although I'm losing some bark. But I'm trying to pick the side that actually started the hole so that the wood that's kind of closing up my hole is getting pushed up by the pole. But I need to be gentle enough and hold on to it towards the pole so that I don't break it, especially as we get to the skinnier twigs. They are going to be more fragile because there's not as much wood to each side of them. And always twisting seems to help things go on a little bit. Okay, so you can see how we could scoot this down. We could leave space between each one if we wanted to have them lined up. I would definitely want to get something for my, to be a star. And again, a brooch would probably look good. So you can see that I've left some space between most of them. And then just to kind of give you an example, because I think I can spin it on this one, is you could change your twigs around as well to make kind of a different shape of tree also. Okay, so do something like that. So those are just some different ideas on how you could do some alternative trees. Again, using things that you just have lying around. So yes, Katie, I hope you can do some crafts next week. You know, these for me, they're kind of late in the Christmas season, but we can just stash them away and use them next year. And it'll give you some inspiration of maybe some things to look out for because like I said, if you could get some little spindles that would look okay if you cut them, you know, in graduating sizes, that would be a great Christmas tree idea as well. So have a good Saturday, guys.